that the victim was rendered incapable of escaping. Throughout this entire scene, the friend was present, acting as an equal participant, witnessing everything with his own eyes. We can say he could have testified, but he chose not to and kept it hidden until the very end. Now, regarding the current situation, we received news on TV channels that a burnt car was discovered in an area of a province. The condition of the car is beyond description. It is entirely destroyed, with only the iron frame left and absolutely nothing remains inside. Alongside this, the burnt body of a man was recovered from the vehicle in such a state that identification is nearly impossible. But it is highly surprising that on January 6, they killed the victim, placed him in the car, and transported him all the way to another province. No one intercepted them on the way. They set it on fire there, and for 5 days no one even realized that the car had been torched and that a human body was inside. When we talk about our institutions, putting aside recent events, killing a person, putting them in a car, and driving to a remote, deserted area to dump them in a canal, drain, wilderness, or fields is treated as easily as a criminal buying a kilogram of potatoes from one place and delivering it to another with all due respect. Look at this, it is a case originating from one city, meaning it belongs to one specific province. Yet the body is recovered from a completely different province, meaning he was killed in one province and the body was found in another. When the victim was placed into the car after the assault, he was not dead, he was alive and breathing. This isn't a matter of a short distance like 1, 2, or 3 kilometers, it is a long journey from one province to another. Was there not a single traffic police officer on the route? Checkposts. If we speak about that province, there are active checkposts and security forces maintain checks and balances there. Did not a single individual stop them? Did no one inspect the vehicle? Did no one find it suspicious? And who is driving the car? A boy completely incapacitated by drugs. Still, no one detected it. There is a massive difference between a sober person driving and an intoxicated person driving. They slam brakes, jerk, the car zigzags, drifts, and does heaven knows what else, yet no one intervened. These were the operational conditions of our institutions at that time, as revealed by the case. Sometime before this, the victim's mother stated that on January 6, when her son failed to return home, she was screaming and crying, begging for information about her son, demanding his recovery, believing someone had kidnapped him. Usually, if he was going to be late, he would inform his home and his parents. He would tell his mother his location and that he would be delayed. But that day, since all contact was lost, his phone was switched off and there was no communication, the mother naturally grew terrified. She states that if the police had acted properly on her initial call, her pleading, or her formal request, perhaps these matters and this sequence of events would have been resolved a month earlier, revealing her son's whereabouts. The police did not search for her son. Also, in this case, it took a month for the story to open up through the friend, revealing that such an incident had occurred. First, the friend gets arrested, he exposes the perpetrator, and when the police move to apprehend the perpetrator, his arrest unfolds in a highly dramatic fashion. The perpetrator opens fire on the police, and they finally capture him following a police encounter. Wealth had completely ruined the mind of that individual. During this raid, the perpetrator fired at the law enforcement officers, resulting in a police official, who was a DSP at the time, being severely injured, requiring prolonged medical treatment. The perpetrator was then arrested from the spot and brought in. Now you must have seen on TV channels that numerous videos of the perpetrator, his statements, and his conduct were highly erratic, making it appear as though he was mentally ill, unstable, or a psychological patient. Not only the perpetrator, but a significant amount of disturbing behavior also came to light from his family's side. Yes, his father, many videos of him surfaced. And outside the judge's chambers, he kept speaking and shouting, demanding a meeting, questioning why they weren't meeting, claiming everyone was subordinate to him, presenting a series of highly bizarre videos. Now, the perpetrator's baseless allegations that the victim supplied drugs, gave them to him as well, and engaged in such activities. All of this emerged during the investigation, which we just discussed and which was covered when the incident initially took place. Following that, once the perpetrator's arrest is finalized, the body is recovered, and he is laid to rest. We observed that the trial of this case proceeded in a highly dramatic manner. When the perpetrator is jailed, claims emerge from there as well. He asserts that black magic is being performed on him and that people want to have him killed. A letter of his also surfaces in which he writes that the secret agency of a foreign country is targeting him and wants him eliminated, specifically naming an agency. He claimed that black magic is being used against him and that his own family wants him dead. All these elements unfolded in this case. Exactly all these statements were made, videos emerged, and every possible effort was made to prove that the perpetrator had lost his mental stability due to stress and was a psychological patient. As far as the judiciary is concerned, where does this case stand at this moment? No progress has been made for 3 months and no final verdict has been reached. However, the judge who was previously presiding over this case passed away, and the newly appointed judge is handling it now. It is being heard in a court, specifically in court number 6, where the proceedings are still active. I hope that perhaps we will hear something new regarding this case, because when such news breaks, it remains highly viral for 2 to 3 days. Institutions take notice and offer a statement or a positive response. After 3 to 4 days, the shelf life of the news expires. Following that, cases, not just this specific one but many similar cases, remain at a standstill precisely where they began. And this case is approaching its 1-year mark. You will see that on January 6, it will mark exactly 1 year since this case began. Answer me this question: the mother who lost her young son in this horrific manner, knowing her son was burnt alive, assaulted, and then mockingly told he could run if he wanted to, while his knees were shattered by being struck with iron rods, leaving him unable to move. What an absolute state of helplessness that must be. You and I are sitting here discussing it neutrally. Ask the mother whose son was provisionally buried, then exhumed, while the news flashed across television channels, what must be tearing through her soul. Yet even today, that mother awaits a verdict that has not been announced, which is deeply regrettable. And the mother put a tremendous amount of effort into pursuing this case. Exactly. Look, the one who loses their son, whose piece of their heart is taken away, they are bound to make relentless efforts. You and I discuss it merely to the extent of a news story. Somewhere, out of basic humanity, we also feel the profound pain of how a living human being can be torched, how a life can be taken with such cruelty and violence. The mother who gave birth to him, what must she be enduring? I can only request, and together we can only raise our voice as we have always done, because only the one who loses truly understands the gravity of the loss. We can simply keep this case alive, given how the victim was buried, lest the case itself ends up buried and forgotten. God forbid this case gets buried, but you and I can speak out, raise our voices, and keep it active. The ultimate decision rests with the competent authorities, and we can only harbor hope. Even today, we remain hopeful. A year ago, we held onto that exact same hope. I at least stand firm on this. Let us discuss the next case. This year, one particular case became incredibly viral involving a female TikToker. A boy entered her residence and shot her dead in a city. The boy actually resided in a small, dilapidated house of 2.5 marlas, hailing from an area of a city. He rented a vehicle from a showroom, selected a large car, loaded it, took it, blackmailed her, attempted to trap the girl, and made various offers to her. She was a highly beautiful, well-mannered, and innocent girl, as seen in her videos. Look, as far as she is concerned, I never had the opportunity to meet her. I watched the videos, you watched them, and the entire country, indeed the whole world, witnessed them. In our society, every rising star either falls into predatory hands or becomes a target of intense scrutiny, with people whispering, "Oh, look who has climbed up." She was a highly intelligent girl who wished to progress in life. She wanted to become a doctor. She aspired to become a doctor and wanted to elevate and secure her future entirely through her own capabilities and independence. This was by no means a fault of hers. I believe we all desire this, every individual who aspires to grow.